Hi guys, this is Mike back with a new series for testing your code using behavioral driven development. Now, you might have heard of test driven development, where you perform a series of unit tests and make sure that your code meets certain quality standards. But this takes things a little bit further than that. Formerly, you may well have used things like unit tests to make sure that your models and your views are working, and that's a good start. But with behavioral driven tests, we actually start to test the websites and the applications that you're building as if you're an actual user. So not only are you testing the actual code itself, so the back end code, things like models and views and that sort of thing, but you also test the site as if you're a user visiting the site and filling in forms and actually clicking buttons to make sure that they work and that things that are expected to be seen on the page actually do happen. So what does that actually look like? Well, we're going to use a library called Lettuce, which basically allows us to do a simple set of instructions that can be interpreted into commands that can be sent through the Django system and cause your site to be viewed through a web page and go to different URLs throughout your site and test each individual page according to scenarios that we create. So let's have a quick look at what scenarios are to give you an idea of what this is really going to consist of. This is a set of scenarios that I've created for the basic customized user object that you might have seen in one of my previous tutorials. Now, the scenarios basically are things like a user can access the login page, so can you actually go to that web URL? A user can log in, so how can you actually log in? And each of these scenarios has steps, and we start off by saying, for instance, as a basic example, the user can log in. We have to make sure that there's actually a user exists and what his password is. Then we give a step to say go to the login URL, then fill in the email address and the password and click the login, or rather press the login button. And then you should see the message on the page, you have logged in successfully, or you have successfully logged in. So we basically define very basic text-based steps that will help us to define how our pages work. And Lettuce will interpret that in a way that will help us to automate the actual viewing of the site and the usage of it. And we use that automation during the time that we actually test. So if we create our scenario, we can actually write that before we write any code and cause this to test the page as we develop to see whether we meet the requirements, which is what you do in test-driven development. But in this case, we'll also be testing the front end and the back end at the same time. So what does it look like? Well, it's really fast, and I think you'll be amazed at how fast it is. It's faster than either you or I could ever fill in the forms. And here's a quick little run through of some of the tests that we've just seen there. Watch carefully. So in only a few seconds, we tested whether you could go to the login page, whether you could log in, whether you can register a new user, and also whether you can send a password reset email. At the end of all that, you get a nice little report, which is all green because we passed all our tests. But if you get any errors, you get red text and you get a description of where the error occurred so that you can debug your code as well. So I'm sure you'll agree this is a fantastic way of developing your websites, and it's going to really increase the quality and the accuracy of your code. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm looking forward to get started with you guys and learning this way of developing your code that'll make you a top-notch, world-class developer. So just click the button to get started and get yourself registered for this course, and I'll see you on the other side.